Hello and welcome to this special New Year edition of The Shipper. Recently, we took a comprehensive look back at the Nigerian Shippers Council's achievement in 2024. If you missed that episode, you can catch the highlights on all our official platforms at NG Shippers. In today's edition, we'll shift focus to the year ahead. We'll explore the Council's projection for 2025, hear from key stakeholders on their expectations, and feature a special New Year message from the Executive Secretary and CEO of the Council, Pius Akuta. But that's not all. This episode is packed with excitement as we welcome a fresh face to the program. Taking the reins of Titbits for the first time is none other than Idowu Ogungbemi, bringing you the latest updates on local and international maritime news with flair and energy. It's a brand new year, a brand new vibe, and a whole lot to look forward to. Stay tuned, we'll be back after this short break.
For more than 5 decades, we have empowered and protected the interests of shippers in the nation's maritime industry. Our focus is to facilitate trade, regulate tariffs and rates, as well as handle shippers' complaints on cargo losses, damage and non-delivery. We offer dispute resolution mechanism for shipping and trade disputes between shippers and service providers. We are Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, your gateway to a thriving maritime sector. Nigerian Shippers Council will meet you at the port of your need.
Welcome back. You're watching The Shipper, your flagship maritime program brought to you by the Nigerian Shippers Council, the nation's port economic regulator. My name is Abike Idowu. 2024 was a transformative year for the Council, laying the groundwork for what promises to be a groundbreaking 2025. Let's begin with highlights of the Council's projections and plans for the new year. Here's a report compiled by Adeshina Abiodun, presented from our studio.
From January to December 2024, Nigerian Shippers Council executed numerous initiatives to regulate tariffs, rates, and charges at the nation's ports. These activities aligned with its mandate as Nigeria's port economic regulator and contributed significantly to economic growth. Key milestones included the commissioning of the Funtua Inland Dry Ports, signing of a Memoranda of Understanding (MOU) on minimum standards for maritime workers, and engaging stakeholders across the sector. Collaborative efforts with the Federal Road Safety Corps and Nigerian Railway Corporation further enhanced the Council's impact. As we enter 2025, Nigerian Shippers Council remains committed to its mandate of regulating tariffs, rates, and charges to ensure fairness and efficiency within the maritime sector. In his special New Year message, the Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer, Barrister Akuta Pius, MON, shared his vision for the year ahead.
This year, the Nigerian Shippers Council will intensify its efforts to protecting the interests of shippers, promoting trade facilitation, and complementing policies that enhance the ease of doing business in our ports. Together, we can turn challenges into opportunities and pave the way for a maritime sector that derives sustainable economic growth for the country.
He emphasized emphasized on the Council's focus to ensure presidential assent for the Nigerian Ports Economic Regulatory Bill, which promises to transform port operations, enhance transparency, and position Nigeria as a global maritime leader.
As we welcome 2025, we reflect on the extraordinary strides we have made together in shaping the future of Nigeria's maritime sector. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, the recent passage of the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill by the two chambers of the National Assembly is a landmark achievement that underscores our collective commitment to a more efficient and competitive port system in Nigeria. This bill, when eventually signed into law by Mr. President, will empower the agency to establish a robust legal framework for economic regulation, enhance transparency, and promote the interests of all stakeholders within the maritime value chain. It is a crucial step towards achieving a port system that not only serves Nigeria's trade interests, but positions us as a regional and global maritime leader.
In line with the Executive Secretary's vision, senior management staff also reviewed departmental activities and shared their projections for 2025. Director of Inland Transport Services, Mrs. Ife Okolue, highlighted the successful delivery of the Funtua Inland Dry Port and the groundbreaking of the Gateway Inland Dry Port. She also provided updates on other dry port projects across Nigeria.
Along the line too, we're able to secure the inclusion of all the inland dry ports in the CBN e-trade portals. We're also working with customs, to ensure the integration of all the inland dry ports too, in all their processes and documentation.
Director of Strategic Planning and Research, Mr. Olurotimi Anifowoshe, outlined the Council's strategic goals for the year, including initiatives aimed at enhancing operational efficiency and promoting sustainable development.
It is very important for an organization as Nigerian Shippers Council to have in place a strategic structure that will be able to guide the developmental phase of the organization. By third week in January, we will be going into management retreat. We've already initiated the steps. We'll go into the retreat. We'll brainstorm. We'll do everything. We'll look at every scenario and come up with organizational goals with measurable KPIs. Organizational goals that are for us on the council and organizational goals that are going to be in line with government, the government mandate, the new HOPE agenda. So we must key ourselves in such a way that the Nigerian Shippers Council's role as a change agent is effectively sustained.
Director of Regulatory Services, Mrs. Margaret Ogbonna, spoke about the Council's regulatory activities in 2024, as well as plans to strengthen ports compliance mechanisms in the coming year.
Council have developed a platform, that is the e-regulatory platform, where we have so many modules, one of which is the confirmation of reasonableness of demurrage. And with that, within the last 3 quarters of the year, we were able to save 40 billion naira that ought to have left the shores of Nigeria. We've saved it for the nation by doing that confirmation, the reasonableness of the freight rate charges and the reasonableness of the charter party fees paid, and which they source for foreign exchange from the Central Bank of Nigeria. In 2018, Central Bank gave Nigerian Shippers Council that responsibility to assist in the confirmation of the reasonableness of their request for demurrage charges, freight rates, charter party. And we're doing it manually. As the regulator, we also have ventured into digitalization. We digitalize the process, a process that usually takes us 3 weeks. Now we do it in 72 hours. So in this 2025, we are going to ensure that the levels of digitalization, by churning out more regulatory notices to ensure that people comply to those notices, encourage all service providers to digitalize the activities.
Assistant Director of the Complaints Unit, Dr. Bashir Ambi, discussed how Alternative Dispute Resolution (ADR) was used to address stakeholders' grievances in 2024 and shared the unit's enhanced approach for 2025.
We are happy to inform the world that Shippers Council, within the first to the last quarter, were able to resolve and serve the nation economy the sum of 758,098,205,057 kobo. This is the first time that the unit was not dragged into the court issue. We are happy to inform the listeners that complaint units, as a result of our interventions, complainants are withdrawing their cases from the court to bring it here. And for your information, all services in Shippers Council in regards or in respect with the complaint handling is free. All the services are free. Coming year or year 2025, I am assuring you that we are going to, achieve more. Because with what we have on ground now, we have no reason to say we are going back. No, backward never, forward ever. So we're expecting to record more achievement than what we have recorded.
Moving away from management insights, we turn now to key stakeholders who shared their expectations and aspirations for the Nigerian Shippers Council in 2025. Clearing agent Prince Chukwu Chibike expressed appreciation for the Council's impact on freight forwarding practices, but emphasized the need for more interactive sessions to address challenges like poor documentation and the presence of multiple government agencies at the ports.
Shippers Council have been the voice of the voiceless. Shippers Council have mediated that if you can analyze it this way, Shippers Council, most of these terminal operators, shipping companies are owned by foreigners. And you see most times somebody will just sleep and wake up and impose one policy without circular, without due consultations. But because of Shippers Council in place, those things are not meant to be implemented. So if I say they have stand so tall in this freight forwarders, making it so impacting so well, ensuring that most of us are still in place.
Senior Special Assistant on Media to Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents, ANLCA, Mr. Suleiman Ayokunle, reaffirmed the Council's authority as the nation's port economic regulator and called for strict adherence to regulations by shipping companies and terminal operators.
We don't want this law that is going through the National Assembly to be a constraint to Shippers Council efficiency. As they are doing, they should continue to do the good work, because by the time some of the port activities, port officers hear about Shippers Council, they shivers to make sure they do the right thing, because they are to protect the interests of the shippers and the economic activities that is going on in the port. We've suggested one time that Shippers Council should have help desk in each of the terminal. They should be more closer to the practitioners.
Maritime consultant Dr. Alban Igwe advocated for increased capacity building initiatives to enhance the Council's regulatory effectiveness.
I want to see more activities along those lines. How do we encourage shipping activities to make sure Nigeria becomes an export country, not just in terms of products, but also in terms of services? If you look at globally, you will see that the developed world are shipping more services than cargo. So we need to actually do some more sensitization, more investment in harnessing those exportable services that can earn us more foreign exchange.
General Secretary of the Association of Bonded Terminal Operators of Nigeria, Are Haruna Omolajomo, encouraged the council to maintain its high standards in service delivery.
Ordinarily, when you stand your ground and you go to the management, you table your matters, it will be well addressed. That's what I say. Then in certain areas too, because they are under a supervisory ministry, there are certain things, that's a decision they cannot take on their own, that they have to go there to the Minister of Transport. Then now they are under the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy now. So that's what I can say on Nigerian Council. Up to now, Nigerian Shippers Council is still doing well. And we in the maritime industry, you see, hold them a very high esteem.
Chairman of the Nigerian Ports Consultative Council, Dr. Bolaji Sumola, commended the council's role in moderating port costs and setting industry standards. He also reiterated support for the Nigerian Ports Economic Regulatory Bill, describing it as vital to strengthening the council's activities.
The issue of our port charges and costs is very germane, is very important. Because now, every now and then, we have high costs of operations at our ports. These are issues that maybe are drawing cargoes away from the ports of Nigeria towards the other ports across the West Coast, which do not even have the number of requirement that we do. I think it's important that Shippers Council ensure that the costs of operations are reduced. The time of operations are shortened to ensure that cargo dwell time and cargo turnaround time are fast and good enough to encourage both importers and exporters to use our ports. This is very, very important because the volume at which we are required, and we'll need them to be able to put this in place, to bring sanity into it, to encourage shippers to use our ports more often and frequently.
And now, let's head over to Idowu Ogungbemi, who's making his debut on our Titbit segment. Idowu, the stage is yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Abike, and compliment of the season to you. I am Idowu Ogungbemi, excited to join you on The Shipper as we bring key updates from the world of maritime and beyond. Let's take a closer look at today's news. The Nigerian Shippers Council wrapped up 2024 with an end-of-the-year party at Apapa Club, where Executive Secretary and CEO Akuta Pius joined management and staff to celebrate a year of significant achievements. Akuta highlighted the council's successes, attributing them to the unwavering support of both management and staff.
Over the years, we may not have received the kind of support we received this year. And we want to say a big thank you to our stakeholders, who unfortunately we have not invited to be part of this event today. But I think by this time next year, when we are celebrating, we should be together with our stakeholders, who in one way or the other have also helped us to achieve any measure of success.
He also delivered a goodwill message from the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, who pledged continued support.
I also want to bring good tidings from our minister, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, the first to be minister for this ministry. When I was speaking with him on the phone, he says I should pass on his felicitations to all of you and also pass his message of encouragement to all of you that he has noticed all of the things you have done, the achievements, the successes, and the push that we have made in this year, that he is standing very firm with us to see that we make more progress in the coming year.
Following the inspiring words from the Executive Secretary, the Director of Human Resources, Mrs. Ada Okam, took the stage to emphasize the significance of celebrating the Council's achievement in 2024.
We all should agree that this year has been pretty amazing. It has been a year full of all manner of achievements. But it's not going to say that we've not had hitches here and there, but in everything we're able to surmount. So, dear colleagues, this same year we have quite a number of persons joined us as our new generation. And in this same year, a lot of us got promoted.
While the president of the Senior Staff Association, Comrade Mukhtar Yakubu, emphasized the ESCEO's leadership in driving success, Bashir Ambi from the complaints unit praised the council's regulatory achievements under Akuta's leadership.
Your administration will continue to remain a red letter day in our lives, and it will continue to be a point of reference, not only within the council's employees, neither the ministry, but within the industry as a whole. Infractions, and as well adding value to the nation's economy, especially to those that have come and invested in the Nigerian economy.
The only place we have is Nigerian Shippers Council. I wish you success. I appreciate the management. I humbly believe in my mind that next year will never be the same like today.
Other members of staff also spoke to the shipper.
The chief executive, while he was speaking, did mention that he gave us hope about a lot of things that will happen in 2025. And we believe him because he has been living up to his words. So we always pray that our tomorrow will be better than our yesterday. Based on that and based on what our chief executive has told us, we are very, very hopeful that 2025 will be a lot better, a better year than this very one.
Yes, giving us a fantastic end of the year party, which is for 2024. He has said it all. He has spoken audaciously based on his achievement for 2024. And we're still having a better year ahead, which is 2025.
Now, let's highlight the council's commitment to resolving stakeholder issues through its 2024 complaint register. The Nigerian Shippers Council has been proactive in addressing issues raised by stakeholders, reflecting its commitment to excellence. The council received 210 complaints, resolving 156, with 54 still under investigation. Some typical complaints include demurrage disputes, arbitrary charges, cargo delays, fraud, non-compliance with contractual agreements, abandoned cargo, extortion, and refundable deposits. We encourage stakeholders to visit our website at www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng for more details or to lodge complaints. Now, let's shift our focus beyond our shores to explore key developments shaping the global maritime industry. DP World is launching a carbon reduction trial at its UK logistic hubs in London Gateway and Southampton, starting January 1, 2025. The 6-month Carbon Insights program will reward importers with carbon credits for reducing emissions in their supply chains. Unlike traditional offsets, these credits reflect actual reduction achieved directly within the supply chain. The program aims to cut Scope 3 emissions and help businesses meet sustainability goals while supporting global decarbonization efforts. In South Korea, the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries plans a $10 billion investment to enhance Busan Port. The ambitious plan includes building a massive new container complex, competing Singapore's tourist ports with 66 beds and the capacity to handle the largest vessels. The initiative aims to address operational challenges and improve efficiency, positioning Busan as key global hub. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Tidbits. I am Idowu Ogungbemi. I will be back next time with more updates. Stay safe and see you soon.
For more than 5 decades, we have empowered and protected the interests of shippers in the nation's maritime industry. Our focus is to facilitate trade, regulate tariffs and rates, as well as handle shippers' complaints on cargo losses, damage and non-delivery. We offer dispute resolution mechanism for shipping and trade disputes between shippers and service providers. We are Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator, your gateway to a thriving maritime sector. Nigerian Shippers Council will meet you at the port of your need.
Thank you for joining us on this special New Year edition of The Shipper. As we look forward to 2025, the Nigerian Shippers Council remains dedicated to advancing the maritime sector, fostering innovation, and driving sustainable growth. Join us next week for another engaging episode of The Shipper, wishing you a prosperous and impactful new year. Goodbye.